I'd like to call the meeting to order, and will you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Whitman?
Yes.
Ms. Rapola-Dye?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Yes. All right, we're looking at approval of minutes for the January 8th organizational meeting, January the 8th regular meeting minutes, and the special meeting held January 27th. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. And a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mrs. Rapola-Dye. And are there any corrections or questions? Hearing none, would you call the roll?
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Ms. Rapola-Dye?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Yes. Thank you. Motion carried. All right, moving right into accommodations and communications, and Mr. Cedar.
Well, I'd like to share a little bit of a communication here. At the March North Central region, Dr. Bennett will be receiving a Special Service Award. And so I wanted to bring that to the board's attention. And I know that I sent out a reminder to anybody who wants to tag along to the Villa Milano on that evening to celebrate with her and quite frankly, to have some good Italian food as well. So congratulations, and you will find a picture somewhere in there along the way.
Also, Steve Thompson, Mr. Steve Thompson is getting his 15-year award.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay, good.
And he's our representative on the Curzon.
All right, and we will move right on to reports and public participation. And
First off, we have every month we celebrate one of our buildings, and just so happens that February is Dan Emmett month. And so they have a really neat video to share, but some additional information. So Margie, I'll turn it over to you and what's going on at Dan Emmett.
all right.
You just want me to forward it, or you want to forward it?
Do you want to?
Gotta give it back. Trust it.
So we were just going to highlight a few things we're doing in Dan Emmett. This year we had a lot. One thing we forgot was we were 5-star, so we did a big assembly with that. And if you read one of the newsletters, you would see some pictures and kind of our article. So we were very proud of that. The students enjoyed it. They had cool star sunglasses. We had all the sugar you needed that day. It was a fun day. Then we also are doing with the district incentives, which is the Wilson training for the dyslexia law. So we have Wilson training going on by Teresa Kingsmill, who is our special ed, and then Orton Gillingham by Sue Manshee, and she's our title reading teacher. We're all interested in the M class, so all of Dan Emmett has been using it, even the older ones for our RTI for 4th and 5th grade. So we are using that for those low at-risk kids. Then we do have the PBIS store that's growing. We started it last year. Christy started a very nice one, so now she has to keep up with it. That might be tricky. So we're hoping that's another incentive. So I'll let Christy take over some of the.
And we started PBIS rewards in our building to start tracking behavior referrals. And it's an option to also do social emotional check-ins with students. So we're starting that. And then I'm still going through the PBIS training. So we're just looking at how can we improve the implementation of PBIS, with all of the different tiers. We're doing our neurosequential model and education training. If you remember us presenting last school year, we talked about the book study, what happened to you, and the concepts that go along with the neurosequential model. All the rest of the elementary social workers and the middle school social workers getting trained in NME this year. I'm getting the advanced training. We should be done by the end of the school year, which is exciting. But we've been implementing some of the concepts in our building, and I wanted to show an example because it's great that we talk about these things, but you don't ever,
He gave it to us.
sometimes don't get to see the after effects, but now I'm gonna hand it back to you because yeah. So this is a nice example of a current fourth grade student that we have, that we did a mini brain map with, and you can see, we've done 3 on this student. A little background information, he does have some mental health diagnoses that make it a little difficult from time to time for him to engage in the classroom. There's some instability at home. Unfortunately, his dad is in and out of jail and in and out of rehab. So this is a student that we, right away wanted to look at what are the areas that we can help improve on so that he can, better get through his days at school. So the first brain map was done last year when he was in 3rd grade. We implemented some scheduled breaks with him. We changed his, he has an aide, a one-on small group aide. So we changed that around to get a better fit for him. And really just took time to get to know him and be familiar with what helps him regulate and then what helps him co-regulate, because he wasn't always able to just do an activity and regulate on his own. Sometimes he needed an adult to help him with it. So we worked as a team with the special education teacher, the classroom teacher, put some additional supports. And when you look at October, which would be 4th grade, it showed growth from last school year, which was encouraging. The 4th grade teacher focused on really getting to know him as well and getting to know his needs. We had a summer of growth, right? So we wanted to kind of see where he was when school started. Again, strategies to help him cope and stay regulated throughout the day. We implemented into his school day, and when you see the most recent brain map, it shows growth in really all areas. So when you look at the maps, the pink is when they really need improvement. 1 is the lowest number you can score. 2 is moderate challenges, and then 3 would be he's at grade level. 4 is above grade level. So it's pretty encouraging to look at that and see the growth that he's made in a short amount of time. So we continue to give him breaks throughout the day to help him regulate his mood and keep his threat response low, because that's one of the things that when he gets into fight or flight, then that can be a long amount of time that he needs to be out of the classroom, which we don't want. So we're trying to be preventative and give him breaks throughout the day to keep him regulated. And I just think it's kind of cool to look at the brain map and see that when we meet students where they are and build the lacking skills that they have, when students feel safe and secure and understood, then we can really see some great improvements in a short amount of time. That's it.
Can I ask you a question relative to that since we're here? So the data shows improvement. Have you seen the improvement in the behavior at school?
Absolutely, and he's also one that that other adults are noticing how different he is when he carries himself down the hall, when he, he's helping other students, which is amazing, which, because he was known as one that adults would have to go to try to help. And so now we're seeing him actually try to help others.
And he's able to share his feelings.
Yeah. He can tell us what he
Yeah.
needs, which was
And
not
Not at
anything
all.
close what he could do, in 3rd grade. So.
Was there any interaction over the summer months to help that, or was that a lot of carryover on his own, you think?
Yeah, and we purposely, with a lot of students, Mrs. Ark's really good at really knowing them and then placing them with teachers that make sense for their
Yes.
needs, and the aide. Doing all of those things really helped. We were able to keep the aide consistent. That was a big help to start the school year. And then just carry over some of the strategies we were using in 3rd grade to 4th grade. And that teacher was really flexible in, you know, whatever he needs, we can do. And so I think that
And he
helps
has
a
a
lot.
different age now.
And now
And
we even
he
switched
can
his age.
regulate it and he can
Yeah.
handle it. So you know there's major growth.
Yeah.
Because we're not, yeah.
Okay,
How
so,
many students would you be evaluating for this one?
so we're new into all of this and trying to see how this fits into our building. So when we get behavior referrals, multiple behavior referrals on a student, that's when we start thinking, okay, well, can we do a brain map? Can we see where there's struggle, and what we can do to accommodate and to help strengthen, you know, the areas of weakness. So really, it's pretty early on we get this going because we think it's very helpful. It's good information for the teachers to have as well.
I think it's amazing, the growth.
Yeah. And those that are really.
Makes them feel successful.
Yeah, the tough ones, and it helps the teachers understand the student, because then if you realize, yes, chronologically, we're here, but maturity level, this is where we are now.
I'm really glad they're highlighting this because this is really interesting. All of our social workers came to us at the end of last year and really made a great case for having this kind of training. And so every one of our buildings has social workers who have been trained in this neurosequential model and brain mapping
That's what they're
component.
doing this year, so it'll be all.
And so, yeah, so at the end of the year, we'll be able to replicate some of this stuff.
I mean, you're changing children's lives.
Yes.
Next one.
So we want to close with, it's been, we have challenges every year,
Yes.
right? It's been a challenging year for a lot of different reasons, and you know, we're just.
Before we start, I want to let you know, NME is over. So this half of the school year, we are actually doing whole brain teaching. Don't know if any of you have seen it. But the first module is actually everything we've done. So it talks about the brain, so the teachers are getting a refresh on that. But then it goes into strategies. So we're getting into, even I tell them, even if you just pick one thing out of here that you could try, it talks more about, you want to see it, Jody? It talks more about the audio, the kinesthetic, and the verbal, doing a lot of different hands-on. And we have a teacher, Mrs. Morris, that came from, which one is it? I always say Northmore, is it where's your wife work though? Northmore?
Northridge.
Northridge, see, I always mess it up. So she came from Northridge, and I was in awe when I did her first observation. She talked about it in her interview, but when I saw it in action, I'm like, wow, I have never in almost 30 years seen anything like this. So we talked with her, and now that's our book study, and people are starting to look at the different ways to reach kids. And it really does help. So it's going to be something that we're just going into module 2 now. It's a decent, it's an easy read too. But then, to finish up, this comes from what we've done, and get your tissues out.